Hello, so I've decided I'm going to make a bucket bag for my Spinnaker. I haven't decided whether I'm going to use a drawstring top to close it or whether I'm going to have like a little hooped bag, a top to close it yet. But I think it definitely a round bottom or a bucket bag is what I need. And as you can see from these like images here, I've been having a good look around at what most people use. And it seems, yeah, it's going to be a sewing challenge because I'm not a brilliant sewer at the moment, but hey, you only get better. So I'm going to make the bucket out of Ripstop Nylon. I've got some nice Ripstop Nylon coming in a nice deep red, hopefully, and we'll be doing it in that. So without further ado, let's crack on and make our bucket bag. So I've actually been measuring roughly what I need, how big this needs to be, and I don't want to crush it up too much, but I do think it can go a little bit tighter. So what I'm going to do a 20 centimetre bucket, and I think with that it will tuck down into about, I think easily a 30 centimetre height. And then what we need to also do is a little collar that would go on top of that, which would house some string so we can tighten the bag up like that. So a 20 centimetre diameter circle. And what we'll do, we'll just cut that out. However, we also need to make ourselves a little a width for the hem. So I think let's do 3 centimeters. I think the bigger the easier. So we're going to do a little 3 centimeter hem as well. Now this is the bit that will, when you're sewing the bucket onto the sides, this is the bit that you'll sew, and you need to give a little bit of give as you're sewing to make sure the bag doesn't pucker up. So there's my circle for the base of the bag. And then all I really need now is to do 2 things. The first thing I need to do is work out what length material I'm going to need that will go round the bag. And we already know that's going to be 30 centimeters high. So, you know, here's the 30 centimeters here. But we then need to know, yeah, what the length of that will be. Now, you do that with a little bit of mathematics. So if the diameter of this circle, or diameter of the inner circle, equals 20, this is all in centimeters, and the diameter of the outer is equal to 3 plus 3 plus 20, which is 26. Well, to find the circumference, you just use pi times the diameter. So let's go and do that sum now. If our diameter is, that's right, 20, we need to do pi, and we don't need to use the whole pi number, just 3.14 times 20. And if it's 26, it's 3.14 times 26, which equals, so that's going to be 63 rounded up, and this is going to be 82 rounded up. So we need to make our material that will form the sides. We're going to have that 30 centimeters high, but we're then going to need to make it somewhere between 82 and 63, because it's probably going to be stitched somewhere around here. But also we need a little bit for the hem as well, to sew it to itself. So 80, let's just take halfway between 63 and 82. I think we'll be about there. We can always cut the fabric up, or indeed we could actually just do it 82. Well, 62 and 82 is 20, 10. I think if we do it 73 centimeters long, I think we'll be about there. So let's come over here. We now need, I hope I've got enough paper. So a line, which is, I'm going to do roughly square to 30. Oh gosh, my pencil's running out a little bit. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more room here. Hopefully you can still see this on the camera. Now, I'm just going to use my set square to give us, let's just move that out of the way, a nice square edge. And the same here. Hopefully that will be okay. And then we're going to go 73 across here. Let me just roughly measure that. 30, 60. Yeah, we've got just enough paper. I'm just going to use those guides there to hopefully make sure we make this piece of fabric as square as possible. So that's 30. Well, I'm going to have to do this in 10s or 20s actually, just so I can keep the line square. Yeah, I don't have my large. I got a big huge ruler which would have been very useful right now. In fact, I'll go and get that. There we go. And then we are literally just going to join these up. There you go, that's actually bang on 30. So that would indicate to me this is a proper square rectangle. Right, tools for the job. So we've got our circle, we've got our little rectangle. The only other thing we do need is a little hem to put the drawstring in. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. Right, there we go, there's our two pieces. So my fabric was supposed to come today to make the bag, but it looks like it's not coming today. I don't know what's wrong with Amazon right now, but things just aren't getting delivered when they're supposed to for some bizarre reason. So I've got this old fabric. It used to actually be on the wall of one of my offices I used to have. And yeah, so it's a few little bits of holes and whatnot in it, but it'll be good enough for a test. It's really nice fabric as well, just to, you know, to use as a like almost a test bag. Okay, that's that marked out. So I'm going to cut that out now, and then we'll worry about the circle in a minute. And you don't need to be like mega hyper accurate, because when you sort of turn around your hems and stuff, it'll tidy everything up and get everything straight. But you do need to be round about there. So there's the sides of the bag. I'm hoping we can get the bottom out of here. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, brilliant, so that's good. Ooh. There we go, we've got our two pieces. Let's go over to the sewing machine and get them sewn up. You have to excuse the 3D printers whizzing away in the background here. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually make a little hem like this for the top. And I'm going to sew that. Use clips like I'm doing. I quite like clips. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. Maybe I'll go and get the iron and iron it. So I just want to do a seam along there. There we go, that's our first little hem done. Now we're going to fold that over and create the little sort of tunnel that the string will go through. So I'm going to do that now. So there we are, there's that bit done. So there's that the little hem and then the second stitch. And then I actually turned this over as well and hemmed it. If you can see, so otherwise you would have had a raw edge there. So that is where, I don't know if you can see, that's where the string will go through. That will ultimately create the top of the bag. So wow, we're kind of getting there. Next job is to sew the bag together like this. So there it is, there's that, oh, so there's that sewn. Now you leave it, obviously you don't sew over these little holes, these gaps here, so otherwise you won't be able to put your string through. But I've sewn from there all the way down, and then you do it inside out. So when you actually end up coming to turn this the right way round, ooh, may have made a mistake here. So yeah, those things need to be, do you know what, they'll still work. Anyway, when you come to sew the right way around, there's your bag, nice and neat. So we just got to make sure, yeah, those needed to be a little bit done over. We needed to flip those around, didn't we? Do you know what, I think they'll still work, but lesson learned there. That's why we're doing a test bag. Next job is to sew this in, and this is the difficult bit. So we turn the bag inside out again, and then all we need to do really is clamp this with as few creases or ruffles as possible. Now I did my circle quite big, and I've got a funny feeling it's going to struggle, but this is basically what you try and do. And then yeah, we've got a little bit of spare there, but we can just fold that over. I think that's because you haven't cut this bag exactly to the right shape. I think actually the circle is too big for the bag. So look, to solve that we need to make the circle about 1 centimetre bigger, like this, or bring the bag about 1 centimetre out. So we can just redo it and do it like that, so we get no ruffling in the bottom of the bag. You can see that's a lot better. I've still got a little bit of overspill here, but you know, I think we'll try and catch that as we go around. So I'm going to sew this up and then we'll see the finished product. Oh man, that's like one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I've kind of done a good job. I might need to just go over there. I've just come off a little there, but I've kind of got it. You can see how the circle's too big. It looks pretty good from that way, but the proof of the pudding will be what it looks like when we turn it the other way around. Ah, yeah, that's not bad. I'm quite chuffed with that. I've got a couple of places, like I said, like I've just got to redo that. But other than that, that's the bag kind of finished. I just have to just be temporary. I've only got this sort of parcel string, which wouldn't really last 5 minutes on the water. I'm going to try and feed that through. So that string wasn't going to work at all. I just couldn't get it threaded through. I've got actually these amazing shoelaces, rainbow shoelaces, that I've had for years, and these are like proper little shoelace tips to them. So hopefully now I can do this and grab that, that's it, and sort of coax it through slowly but surely. So here's the finished product. I'm laughing because I'm really chuffed with it, but it's you know, it works, but it's, you know, it's not pretty, but it works. It's not bad. There's the drawstring top. I've tied the laces together, but they work quite nicely. I've just tied the laces together to stop them going through for now. These are two little hooks. So on here, I could just put 2 D shackles and then 2 snap shackles, which would very quickly attach the Spinnaker bag to wherever I need to attach it to. But that would then mean, you know, that holds the bag in place when you're pulling the Spinnaker out. As you can see, the sewing's all pretty nice inside there, and my round bottom is very nice and round, not too puckered. So I'm really chuffed with it. And now I'm going to stuff the Spinnaker in it. So when you're ready to launch, sorry, you would attach these to the relevant bits, and then you get the bag hooked up, and then you'd literally pull on the halyard and control your lines, and the Spinnaker's up. When you want to stow it, I guess you just fold those over like that, and there's your bag stowed. To be honest with you, this is so good. I think I'm just going to give this a go for now. The only bad thing is this is just pure cotton, so if it gets wet, it's not going to be pretty. But for now, you know, for the first few goes, I might just give it a go. We'll see. This just came in the post. It's Ripstop Nylon. In many ways, it feels exactly like the sail does, actually. It looks exactly the same. Really strong. Dries really quickly. It's kind of splash proof. We're going to now convert this that we made in the last video into one of these, and at the same time we're going to make a few improvements as we go along. So the first improvement we're going to make is these tabs that I've kind of sewn on the outside, and they serve a purpose. These are what will hold the bag onto the boat, and then I'm going to hook the bottom bit onto the little eyelet, the towing eyelet, so the bag will stay in this position when you're pulling the Spinnaker out. If you didn't attach the bottom, the Spinnaker would kind of do this, and the bag just wouldn't come out cleanly. The second thing I'm going to do is obviously, so what I'm going to do is, instead of sewing them like on the outside, when I sew this little hem down here, I'm going to sew these into that hem, and then maybe reinforce them by having them on the inside. We'll see how strong they are, just sewing them into the hem. I think they'll be fine like that. The second thing we need to do is I think I just need to adjust how I do this little you know, almost piping where the drawstring goes through. Firstly, I don't think I need to hem first. I'm just going to go in. The hem has created a bit of friction inside, so I'm going to make it a little bit simpler on the next one. And secondly, we need to pay attention to how the top is done, because it's kind of, the little holes are kind of pointing on the inside rather than needing to point on the outside. So I've worked out how you do that. And then the last thing is the circle. I need to cut out a slightly smaller circle, because that was a bit difficult doing it with that slightly too big circle. And there's a little bit of puckering, as you may see here. Nothing to write home about, but you know, a little bit of puckering. So there we go. We're going to now convert one of these into the same thing, but using this red nylon, red Ripstop fabric. So here's the finished sides done. A few changes. I didn't do the double hem there. I don't think it needs it. The other thing was, more importantly, was I've sewn the little tabs into the bag. So if we turn this bag right side, you know, this is how it will look. You'll see the tabs are now sticking out here and sewn in. I've done this tab the wrong way round. But that's how the tab should look, like this. And I think that'll be a lot stronger. So, and then if we want to, we can sew, you know, these across for even more reinforcement, but I don't think we'll need that. So I've got to redo this. I'll have to unpick that and redo it. And then the last job will be literally to get the circle sewn in, and then we'll use one of these lovely glorious rainbow ties, and then we should have a really cool Ripstop Nylon Spinnaker bag. Okay, I finished it. So I re-sewed that so these are the right way round, and lo and behold, I got the bottom in completely the wrong way. So I actually had to unstitch all of the round piece off and re-stitch it. But you know what, practice makes perfect. So let's have a look at the bag now. And you can see there's my two little tabs that stick out, which are perfect. And look at that, very little puckering. I'm really chuffed with that. I did mess this up. I don't know why they aren't pointing inwards, but they still work. There we go, there's the drawstring. And now I've actually added one of those little springy clips, so that'll lock that shut. And when you want to open it, there we go, just works like that. So that is the bag done. Let's go and get this sail out the other one, see if it fits. It's perfect, this bag. It's just the right size. So there's the bag packed. When you want to launch it, well, actually let's lock the strings. There we go. Nice and sort of semi-waterproof now, and even if this does get wet, it'll dry really quickly, whereas the old cotton bag wouldn't dry. And then when we launch it, we just need to remember what these are. I think this is the head of the sail. I think, no, the red is the head. These are the clue stroke tack. And then we can connect those up to the halyard and the two lines. And then what will happen is, hopefully I've got this right, we then clip the bag to the boat so it won't move anywhere. And then what should happen is, because we're holding the bottom of the bag, this should all come out quite easily like this. You can't really see much, but there we go. And then we've launched our Spinnaker. Very pleased.